Hey, astronauts, welcome to AstroTarotResearch. Hope all is well. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I was in the middle of grocery shopping and I completely distracted. Luckily, I set my alarm and so it notified me. It was like, you gotta leave now. So that is why I'm here, but thank God I'm not too late. I knew about me. I knew I needed that alarm to set that reminder. I'm going to check the sound really quick to make sure that you guys can hear me. Always got to check the sound and make sure the stream looks good. Because you never know these days, especially with Verizon. Oop, I went past my own video. Just checking in. And Tina the Traveler, welcome to being a stargazer and an astronaut. I am super happy for you to join. I mean, becoming a member is always appreciated, and hopefully you enjoy the membership perks. If you guys want, and this is for the members, maybe you watch this back, let me know if you want to do a members only live. That is part of one of the perks. And I had designed it so that you guys could ask your free questions there, but you know, people were, there were some conflict schedules with the lives. So let me know if you want that, if you just want to keep the questions in this live. So there's always that. And then we can also do like a special members only live for like astrology or tarot and learning certain things. Trust me, I'm more than happy to do like a quick session for my stargazers. It doesn't have to be that quick, actually. I don't know why I said quick. It really doesn't. But let me set this up. And I'm going to start a goal. I've never done one of the goals before. We're probably not going to hit it, but that's fine. I just want to try something new. Always looking to test things out. Oh, let me test the sound, see if you guys can hear me. Okay, I can see myself typing. So, oh, don't forget the poll. I gotta hit the poll and like and share, my beautiful astronauts. Like and share the post. I don't know, can you hype lives? If you can hype the live, hype the live. So this poll is gonna be based off of last week's weekly collective for this week, essentially. And the question is, how has the world card played out for you this week? And I'm just typing the poll right now if you're coming in. And then we're going to jump into the weekly collective if there's no questions. I don't know why I said question as in one. Okay, I'm gonna do this because it's like cutting off the poll, so I've gotta make it short. Okay, I'll say, there we go. Fortunately, I had to shorten this. I wish there was more options. So the poll this week is based upon last week's weekly collective. And last week's weekly collective was essentially, we talked about what was coming up for this week. We got the world card. We got the 5 of Swords. And I'm trying to remember the last card. Let me actually go back and look at it real quick. but I do know that we had those particular cards. Give me 1 second to refresh my memory. Astronauts, be patient with me. Okay? Patience is the name of the game. Saturn is an Uttara Bhadrapada. Neptune's an Uttara Bhadrapada. You guys got to be patient with me. You don't have to, but I'm asking you to. So please. But yes, the World card. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. The 5 of Swords. And I'm just skipping through to see what card we had. I did a lot of talking, huh? I guess I wanted to make sure that you guys got... I think we got the 9 of Swords reversed. Okay, so we got the World card last week, the 5 of Swords, and the 9 of Swords reverse. And last week I said, hey, this could be a week of you feeling like you're closing the gate on some chapter in your life. You're entering a new stage. You're wrapping something up. This can also be a week in which you have been acknowledged. People may have reached out to you, gave you some shout outs. You may have gotten more visibility. That is what the World card brings. For some of you, even though I know travel is a little bit shifty right now, you could be in a place where you have traveled, where you have made some travel plans, or you're even thinking about travel plans. I know I found myself doing that this week. I've already started planning my next travel adventure, even if I don't have the money for it right now. And also, you may have felt like there are some aspects about this week where there have been some miscommunication, or in worst case scenario, jealousy, people undercutting you, people undervaluing you, or even some moments of self-sabotage. But with the 9 of Swords reverse, it's like I'm not letting that get to me. I'm letting the sweat just drip off my back and continue. It's about addressing those anxieties. And I'm not going to lie, this week, for me personally, definitely felt that 5 of Swords, 9 of Swords energy, and the World card. The World card I also get, it's a great card, but it can be very exhausting. It is connected to Saturn, the planet of hard work and discipline. And so oftentimes I get the World card to represent you're putting in a lot of work. There's a payoff, but you're going to put in a lot of work this week. And so I definitely felt that, putting in a lot of work with all the different hats I've got spinning, from this channel to other, aspirations and goals. And I had a mix up this week with the 5 of Swords. So for me personally, the 5 of Swords came up in my life as one of my shirts got ruined or it's the quality got degraded. I had a family member, they took my clothes out of the washer and they put it into the dryer, but the fabric was wool. So it can go in the washer, at least this particular wool could, but it could not go into the dryer. And so that fabric was ruined. Very 5 of Swords. It was more of a miscommunication rather than anyone being shady or trying to be underhanded in some sense. But the 5 of Swords can show up in that sense. Just not necessarily, hey, I'm trying to bully you or win by any means or put you down. It's more so like I've done something that has harmed you, and as a result, it has affected me as well because they have to replace my shirt. So that's how it played out for me. So I just wanted to give you guys that live example because I think the weekly collectives are a great tool to actually learn tarot, to think about things, to understand how the cards play out in your own life. So that is why I asked you guys questions about the weekly collective. That is also why I do the weekly collectives, because at the end of the day, I feel the need to teach because I think it's a great way to empower you to make insights for yourself. That is ultimately my goal here. And so I don't even think I really did the intro, Hey, if you guys are new to the live, I'm Brandi. This is AstroTarotResearch, and during the lives, we go over the weekly collective, and I don't know why I said we. I go over the weekly collective, and I take questions from you beautiful astronauts. Also, I updated the payment method. You can pay through PayPal, CashApp, Venmo now, or you can super chat. So that link should be below. Hey, Maryland, how you. Can you tell me, does LF think slash feel, how does LF think slash feel about me and the project that I have asked her to participate with me? Okay, let's see how LF feels. Let me make sure I get this card out. That's the top of the deck card. I hope you are doing well. And also, guys, as I was saying, tarot and astrology, they are there to guide you, provide insights. Always seek a professional when it comes to, you know, legal matters, financial matters, health matters, etc. It is for entertainment purposes only. You have control of your own life. And a card already came out for Maryland. We have the 10 of Pentacles. And as you're coming in, don't forget to fill out the polls, like and share. And if you want, participate in the goal. I'm gonna see if I can try to reach it. I might have to be on here for like 2 hours to try to reach it. Let us see. Okay, this is good. We got the 4 of Wands. And the 6 of Swords. So when I look at how Ella feels about working with this project, or working with you on this project, I think she's happy about it. You know, the 10 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands indicates that she thinks this will be a stable and steady partnership, that you guys will be aligned. There'll be a lot of teamwork and things. She thinks that you guys will do pretty well on the project together, to be completely honest. There is a possibility that this can bring about some recognition, some success, or at least that she feels like, oh, if I work with this person, we'll definitely be able to get it done. We'll reach our milestones in time if you have a project that's hitting those milestones and things like that, depending on the project and how it's set up. But she thinks that you guys will be timely, you'll be efficient. The project will be helpful to a lot of people, because usually when we get the 10 of Pentacles, it's representative of everything being good for the community. Which can be your workplace environment or school place environment, etc., depending on what type of project this is. And this 6 of Swords here is great too, because I see this as LF thinking this is going to be a change from the projects I have worked on in the past, where it seemed as though we couldn't get into alignment with what we were trying to do. There was some mishaps in communication, maybe through chats or texts, or depending on how you guys decide to communicate with each other. She felt like during her past projects, not specifically with you, that she's had a lot of stressors with working with other people. And so she feels like the opportunity to work with you is going to be a lot of a smoother ride, essentially. It's going to be a break from all of the stress, a break from everyone having their own competing agendas, a break from miscommunication. She feels as if you're someone who's responsible, someone who is a team player, and that you generally have a positive attitude, especially when we talk about the 4 of Wands here. And this card fell. We have the Moon card here. I think there's a curiosity about her as to how things are going to play out. She doesn't particularly have a full understanding of maybe what it's going to be like to work on this project with you. And there might be some confusion about how she wants to approach it. But generally, she thinks that this is going to be a better environment, a better grouping, just better, to be honest. She just feels like this is just more in alignment with her. But she is curious as to how things are going to play out ultimately. And then we have Temperance here. I think that you guys are going to work together and it's going to be quite pleasant. The Temperance card I often get for conversations that are smooth, they're understanding. The Temperance card connects to listening as well as speaking your mind. It's about understanding different viewpoints and taking in people's suggestions, as well offering your own advice and your own perspective. So I feel like you guys work in harmony together, or will work in harmony, and you'll both be able to fully articulate your reasonings as to why you want to approach things a certain way, why you want to make certain decisions, and you'll both be bringing something of value to the table. Especially when you think about temperance. On this card, we have a volcano over here exploding, and then over here we have greenery. It's like this cycle of life, right? And so to me, it feels like you guys have very different personalities, or even working styles or approaches, but you'll manage to work together, and you'll manage to make something that is impactful, that is, I don't know if you guys are working in anything that is going to affect how a program is structured, or how certain rules are implemented, or if the even project sets up those type of things. You know how you have a project and you are, how do I say this? Assigning new roles within the, I guess you'll say, the workplace atmosphere. I'm trying to think of the right word for it. The workflow environment. For example, you might be implementing, like if you have a project that implements like a new chat box, part of the project would be to assign different roles and procedures as to how it can be used, who has authorization, etc. I don't know if the project involves that or even thinking about that, but if it does, that component will really stand out in being successful. But generally, it just shows a lot of success with your project and working together, and she'll respond positively to your requests. I mean, I don't see anything here that would say otherwise. She seems happy, to be completely honest. She's like, finally, like, I get to work with someone who cares about their work, and who listens, and who takes some feedback, and who seems to be level-headed and reasonable. She's happy. She'll be happy, you know. Is there a reason you would think that she wouldn't be? I'm curious. Yeah, I think it's going to work out, Marilyn. You're welcome. I'm happy to deliver the news. Sometimes tarot doesn't have the best news, but I think this is going to be good. I really do. And as you are coming in, we were taking a question from viewers. Marilyn came in. Yes, prior we would have had her be hesitant. I guess she knows her more. Okay, I think I remember now. Before, she had a lot of hesitancy with the project, because I was wondering if I had this question before. So it was you, Marilyn. But I think she probably feels like she knows you a lot better now. Maybe she's seen your work style and your work ethic, or she's just more familiar with you. So she seems positive. She seems like she has a positive mindset. And thanks for coming in and answering the polls, everyone. This week's question, oh, it won't even allow me to view it. This week's question is how the world card played out for you. Oh, NC, hey, haven't seen you in a while. Oh, so that's what changed. You wrote the letter and clarified things. Okay, now it's making sense. Okay, so now she's like open to working with you and thinks things are going to be great. So, I mean, that was a smart idea. Good for you, Marilyn. Way to use that emotional intelligence. All right, I will get to your career reading, NC. I have been working a lot, lots of duties and responsibilities. Oh man, don't I feel your pain. Let's see how career will be next month. Hopefully it's less duties and responsibilities and you get some time to relax. As you're coming in, feel free to participate in the poll. And if the world card has not played out in those 4 ways, you know, the world card can play out in a lot of ways. Sometimes it's recognition too. Sometimes you'll get it to feel like you're being acknowledged, or people are looking at you as somebody who is successful, talented, intelligent. I didn't have time to write all that, but if it played out for you that way, let me know. Right now, we are taking questions from viewers. We'll go back to the weekly collective in a second. We are on NC's question. I'm trying to get a new job. All right. I'm so sorry that I'm not so stressed. I'm sorry that you're stressed and you're going through a lot right now, NC. That is the worst. We have the Hermit card. Let me follow a few cards. The Knight of Cups. And the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. So I don't think that new job is going to come next month. Just because the Hermit card, he goes into his own little world. He reflects. He sits back. He does work hard though. And the Knight of Cups, that tends to show just having a lot of different ups and downs in the emotional world. My director's a tyrant. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. And see, that's horrible. You got to get out of there. You don't want to deal with that and get to a place of burnout. But I'll say this, next month in your career, you're strategizing more, right? You're looking deeply about the direction that you want to go in, and you're trying to figure out the best way to get to that next stage. Now, I'm not going to lie, with the Knight of Cups, you may see some roles you're excited about, but then you may also experience some disappointments. And I can also see the Knight of Cups to just represent having a lot of emotional ups and downs. Sometimes the Knight of Cups, I can get that card for being triggered. I can get that card for daydreaming. I can get that card for not wanting to work. Because the Knight of Cups, you know, he wants to slack off sometimes. He wants to socialize. He wants to do his own thing. He wants to just have fun. So I feel like next month, I don't think it's going to be the level of work that you're putting in, because I think you said you work till 3 a.m. because that's crazy. Yeah, working at 3 a.m. is absolutely insane. I don't think that will be the case, but I'm not going to be here to say that things are going to be completely just easy and everything. The Hermit card at the end of the day is associated with Virgo, the house of service, the house of labor. And so you'll definitely still be putting in work, but I don't think the hours will be as extreme. And if there is, maybe it's like 1 day or 2 days that month that you have to do things. But the pace kind of slows down, but your emotional world is still looking to rebalance. You're still in that place where you're looking to recover, to go into yourself, to not have to deal with so much stress, and give yourself space to relax. So I feel like at work, you're definitely going to be in a space where you may not want to focus. You might want to scroll on your phone a little bit at work. Seven of Pentacles is like, I'm using my time to think about my next career steps, my next career moves. I've gotten the Seven of Pentacles to represent creating structures around shifting to a next role. For example, you come up with a strategy as to what jobs do I want to apply to? How do I want to apply to them? And at what rate? For example, some people set a rate for themselves to say, I'm going to apply to 10 jobs a day, or I'm going to apply to 5 jobs a day. And maybe you have a role that you want to switch to tech. It's like, okay, I'm only going to apply to tech roles, or I'm only going to apply to tech and healthcare. This is what I mean by formulating a strategy. Or you also have a strategy where it's like, okay, for certain roles that I really like, I'm going to rank them out of 1 to 5, right? 1 being a role I really like, 5 a role I really don't like. I'm going to track all these roles, and the roles that I have a 1 that I really like, I'm going to message the recruiter, or I'm going to include a portfolio along with my resume to make myself stand out. Like, this is what I'm seeing here for you next month. It becomes more strategic about moving to that next stage in the career space. But you're coming along and you're forming some plans and you're continuing to make strides. I often get the 7 of Pentacles card to be a card of like learning and studying. And so you're learning what works and what doesn't work when it comes to getting the results that you desire. You're going to repeat a few things and say, okay, this isn't working. Let me reassess my job hunting strategy. You know, maybe I'll redo my resume. Maybe I'll tweak it like this. Maybe I'll apply through, different career websites instead of just using LinkedIn, Glassdoor's, Indeed. What's the other one? I can't think of the other popular one. I'm going to use a more niche board. So this is what I'm talking about, how things are going to play out next month in terms of your career. This is what actually I've been doing 10 apps a day. So if you've been doing 10 apps a day, you might reassess your strategy next month and try to really figure out if this is sustainable for you, or if you want to up the amount of applications that you're doing, or if you want to be more focused when it comes to how you're applying things. Sometimes things are a numbers game. Sometimes things are just a matter of picking the right jobs to apply to. And that might be part of the strategy. But next month is all about, let me figure out the right strategy for myself. Let me change a few things. Let me switch things up. And I'm not gonna lie, some points will be frustrating, but some points you'll actually find new opportunities. That Knight of Cups is always there to find new opportunities. And you're going to see some roles that you really connect to and that you really want to go for. And you'll just have to wait for that feedback. But yeah, you got to deal with your dictator boss next month, unfortunately. But I want to pull a card. Let me see if I can pull some cards to see. Okay, I want to say this. We got the 9 of Swords and we got the 5 of Cups. It may be a bit of a journey getting to this place of wanting to a job that's actually fulfilling, that's actually sustainable, that actually treats you well. But don't worry yourself too much. You are very skilled. You're very qualified. Don't work yourself up into a frenzy. And I know it's hard when you have somebody who is at work and they're making your life a living hell. Trust me, I know it. But try not to take that energy home with you, because the cards are worried the way they're playing out that you're going to fall into a space where, I don't know if it's a depression or if it's a place where you feel with anxiety, or if you just feel really down. They're just worried that may happen. And so do your best to remain positive. I know it can be hard, especially when you have somebody you have to report to who is unbearable. But really, try your best. Do some things that are good for you. The Knight of Cups is letting me know that you have to do some things that you enjoy to help balance out this stress and this pressure from this job. And be patient when it comes to securing that role. You said, I'm already there. Okay, good. Continue to do that. Yeah, continue. Oh, unless you meant you're already depressed, and I'm so sorry. No. But like, you got to do more things to make you happy to help balance yourself out from this, because the cards are just worried that it's going to get progressively worse. You stop taking care of yourself. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to see your friends. You self-isolate. You're filled with anxiety. You have panic attacks. Like, this is not the best thing. You definitely want to get out of this environment as soon as possible. Yeah, you've got some hard choices to make in the future about, I guess, essentially, it's a matter of choosing your happiness and choosing something stable and going a more formidable, like a traditional path, which is essentially, hey, I'm going to wait till I get my next job before I quit this one. Or it's like, I'm going to choose to release myself from this burden and have a little bit more fun. But obviously, financially, that may be very difficult for you. But just know that you have options. You're not stuck. You're not trapped. Even if the job hunt takes a minute, you will get out of there without a doubt. I just want you to know that. Because these jobs these days, I feel you. These jobs these days, I feel like people are abusing power more than ever. I don't know what it is. It's like they've lost sight of their own humanity. And it's disappointing and it's horrible. I'm like, where did empathy go? What's wrong with people? But hold tight. You will get out of there. Trust me, I have been in a terrible situation like that, and it's the worst. It really is detrimental to your mental health. I'm hoping you get out of there more sooner than later. I'm trying to pull these cards out. Let's see if we can see. That's exactly what I was just about to ask. We have the King of Swords. It always focuses on everything but the card, huh? And the Sun. And the Ten of Cups. That's interesting. So, if I go by what I have seen the King of Swords to represent, a lot of this does lie on you. And it's really a matter of being highly, highly strategic. Having a strong plan as to how you're going to move in the future. The King of Swords is somebody who not only thinks about the next job, but they think 5 years ahead, 5 years down the line. And when we have this Sun card here, it's about using your intelligence to secure a role. I know this sounds like maybe not that helpful, but it really is how the cards tend to play out. Is using your intelligence to secure a role and find something that will make you happy. So you have to think about things in detail, because that's what the King of Swords does. He thinks, what will make me happy? And then he looks at the roles that align with, I guess, that idea of happiness. And he tries to pivot towards those roles. You know, if it'll make you happy to have a $200K a year salary, then you start to look for roles that offer $200K a year salary. And maybe you get accreditations that allow you to get those roles, or you seek out people who are within that field to see if you can network with them. You start attending conferences with those people. Sometimes in person is better. You start to be more visible about it. That's something that the Sun card and the King of Swords can do. If you start to be more visible about saying, hey, I'm looking for this job opportunity, maybe not to your director or your boss, but if you do it in certain other environments, when you're out, when you have spare time, and saying, yeah, I don't know, complaining to a stranger, you know, whatever the case may be, you know, sometimes you're waiting in line for something and, you know, you're just talking about like, oh, I'm tired, blah, 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 blah. Work is hard enough, blah, blah. You know, you get off into like a tangent. People talk all the time about their lives. And so talking to people about where you're looking to shift and where you're looking to move is a good idea, especially with the sun card there. It just gives advice to put it out there. Put it out there and just let it shine about what you want to do. You're likely to gain some opportunities that way. And then the last thing, the cards are just basically saying that you'll land in a space that is significantly better and this chapter will be done, but it's just not saying how soon. If I just go by these cards, they're not indicating like long years or something like that, because we don't have any pentacles. We don't have any slow moving cards. The sun moves pretty quickly as well. So I don't really think that it's going to be like 7 months or anything like that. It might be well under 5 or something along the lines of that. But it will take some time because we pulled those earlier cards. But it's going to end up great. It's going to work out very well for you. But make sure you're very, very strategic. You know, these days, a lot of people will just apply for jobs and hope to hear back. But that's a more traditional way of going about things. You kind of have to make sure you're optimizing your resume for AI. You have to think about, if you want to know how to optimize it for AI, think about how AI works. What are the popular AI systems? You could do research on that and then look for keywords these systems or recruiters tend to look for. They likely have included that within their systems. Include that on your resume. If I can do it for 3 years, I can last a few more months. That's the spirit, for sure. You can last a few more months and then you're out of there and then you're in this sunny 10 of Cups place. I think it's going to be a way better job, your next job, at least for your peace of mind. And as you guys are coming in, don't forget to like and share. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, there was something I was going to announce. Oh, yeah. Also, I have added Venmo to the payment, I guess, methods. It was requested, so now it is officially there. It took me a minute to set it up too. I had some issues, but it is there. So if you would like to ask a tarot question or an astrology question, you can go submit things through PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, or Super Chat. Those are the options I currently have available. I'm more than happy. I'm so happy to expand them for you guys. Thank you for requesting that. It was a challenge, but I got through, got it done. Just a tip, guys, if you have a regular personal Venmo account and then you want to start a business account, you might have to close that personal account and then just open up the business account, open up another personal account. That's what I had to do. You know, very Five of Swords, miscommunication, all that stuff going on this week, but just wanted to give that heads up because I know some of you guys are entrepreneurs yourself. And so if you're dealing with that, keep that in mind. There's always these little things, like when you're doing your own thing and your own craft, it's always the small things that you have to think about. And then also don't forget to watch the latest reading up on my channel. Thanks you guys. You guys have been blowing it up. I also want to give a shout out to everyone who has joined the membership. We have a new member, Tina the Traveler. Thank you for becoming a member. If you become a member, you get access to the monthly readings, the spring, fall, winter, summer readings, as well as the yearly predictions. And then I do some other readings in between. A new reading will be out not this Saturday, but next Saturday. This week is focused more so on my backlog when it comes to the main channel, and then I will get to you lovely stargazers. Also, with the memberships, you get one free question per month, at least for the time being. We don't have like a huge amount of members, so it's quite easy to do one free question a month. And then I think that was all the announcements that I had to say. I don't have anything else. Feel free to check out my latest astrology video of Pluto transiting Shravana. It will be there in Shravana from 2026 to 2035. From 2026 to 2035, Pluto will be in Shravana. As we saw last time with Pluto and Shravana, there was a lot of changes when it comes to government and the financial sector, as well as some conversations about civil liberties and citizenship. So that's what's going to be the topic of conversation for the next 9 years. There's definitely going to be some overhauls of these systems. And you can watch that video to look for what's going to be unfolding for your sign, and also get the predictions that I have made. So I wanted to throw that out there. Oop, let me get a sip of water here. I hope you guys have been having a good week. It's the end of March, and it feels like this has been the most transformative month. Oh, coffee with the unknown. Hey, it's been a while. I haven't seen you for a minute. I'm so glad that you guys are all here. But I hope you guys are doing good. I'm gonna that'll probably be the poll question. I don't know, if I don't have a poll question scheduled, then I'll ask you guys how your March has been for you. Oh, and thank you for participating in the polls. As you come in, don't forget to participate in the polls. I want to know how the world card has played out this week for you. Did you start a new chapter? Did you complete a cycle or wrap up any unfinished business? Did you accomplish a goal? And for accomplish a goal, you can include being recognized in that, because I didn't have space to type that. YouTube limited that. And then, did you have lots of responsibilities and duties? For me, I had a lot of responsibilities and duties, and I also completed a cycle and started a new chapter in my life. Let's get to your question, Coffee. Does Eduardo, Alonso, or Eddie still think about me? Okay. Okay, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Eduardo, Alonso, Eddie. All right. So for Eduardo, I feel like we have this 10 of Cups and this 5 of Wands reversed. Generally, it kind of represents that they may have in the past had a few sort of like more intrusive thoughts, like you'd pop up on their brain. But when we talk about the 10 of Cups, it's like a closing of a chapter. And that 5 of Wands, when it's reversed, it's almost as if their mind is less busy, you know? And it's not that they don't think of you, but it's almost like it's starting to dwindle. So they still do, but it's not as prevalent as they used to. Now with Alonso, we have the Devil and the Lover's card. So for sure, they think about you quite a great deal. Also, like obsessively. Like, look at this. We got the Lovers here and the Lovers here. They're chained all together. Like, you're on their mind, the good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter. Whatever interactions that you have, they think about how your relationship with each other played out. I don't know if it was romantic or anything like that, but if it was, it would make a lot of sense that they would think about you quite a deal. And I feel like, oh, that's his full name? Okay, then I guess I read this wrong. I thought this was like you had 3 different men. Coffee. Okay. Well, let me approach this differently because then this is being read all together. Okay, then. Let me pull all the cards together then. So then the obvious answer is yes, they still think about you. It's starting to dwindle, but you are still on their mind. Okay, and then we'll pull this. We got the 4 of Wands and the Page of Pentacles. All right, so it's read all together. Sometimes you gotta pause, and this is why it's important to understand the question, guys. Sorry for that. So yes, for sure, they still think about you. They think about the interactions that you've had together. They think about your time spent. They think about the good memories. They think about the fights. And I think part of their memories, especially when I think about the 5 of Wands and the Lovers and the Devil, it's almost as if a part of them is like, why did certain misunderstandings have to happen, or certain communications? Why did certain things have to be tense? And I'm not saying that you had a bunch of tense moments, but you know, everyone has awkward moments. Everyone has moments where they don't always get along, or maybe they aren't as kind or empathetic as they should be. In their mind, they're looking at things from a new perspective. And it's almost as if they felt as if their approach at the time could have been different. It could have been more pleasant, more open, more inviting. I would not be surprised if this person at some point felt the desire to reach out. I don't know if they will, because that Devil card in the middle sometimes can be a place of ego. And so this can feel like if I reach out, you know, I look like a loser, or I look like somebody who's desperate, or I look like, you know, I'm begging you to come back or be back in my life, or, you know, something like that, or I look lonely or something. But for sure, they are thinking about you, and they're thinking about the fact that maybe you guys have wanted to plan a future together. Maybe you guys have had thought about shared goals. You had thought about even where you want to be in 5 years. And it's actually interesting because one thing that they think about is how much they have changed. I think he's my karmic. Does it say, I'll see him again, we both won't reach out? Let's see. Where did I just put my cards? There we go. Hey PJ, how are you? Let's see. Okay, damn. We have the 9 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords reversed and the High Priestess. So the only way you'll probably see this person again, you'll see Eddie again, is if you reach out, to be completely honest. That 9 of Pentacles is very much, you have to take the initiative. Eight of Swords is like coming out of your shell, getting out of your comfort zone, no longer being afraid of how somebody's going to respond to you, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself to be rejected or accepted. And the High Priestess is definitely someone who wants to sit, wait, watch, etc. And I just feel like that's their energy. They're kind of waiting for, if you reach out and make a move, like they will be receptive towards it, but they're not going to do that themselves. You know, it's just repeating this message that they have this ego, they're in their feelings, they are this person in their mind. They're like, I don't need to be the one reaching out. I don't need to be one doing X, Y, and Z. So if you want to see them again, you would have to reach out to them. Which is interesting because, like I said, I feel like this person wants to see you from the way the cards are playing out, especially with that Page of Pentacles on the end, but they really won't do it. They'll just rather just kind of stay in their own world and think about you to themselves, which is strange. But that's them. Then we have the Tower here. As a woman, I would never do that. Preach, coffee. You're absolutely right. We have the Tower here and the Queen of Wands reversed. So it would definitely get the ball rolling if you ever chose to reach out. Page of Swords here. Like you guys would have an honest conversation. Don't get me wrong, you would probably be frustrated with the conversation, but you guys would reconnect. He would respond. He would be honest with you. But I feel like you would be a little bit frustrated by his responses, or even frustrated by the fact that you have to reach out. So it's just a matter of, if you're hoping for happenstance that you guys run into each other, I can ask, you know. And I will get to your question in a moment, PJ. We have the Nine of Swords. I don't think so. That's more of a card of like thinking about different scenarios and how they're going to play out, and if you run into them and what will you say and how it will be awkward, and you know, it's more so in your head than anything. But I don't think that you guys will naturally run into each other again. We have this Two of Swords, another card that's like about burying your head in the sand, being in a stalemate, being at an impasse. So that's not going to play out. The only way this plays out, if you want to see them again, the cards are indicating is creepy. I always pull the Queen of Wands in our readings. I wonder why that is. Is it, do you guys feel as though, well, the Queen of Wands is flirtatious, ambitious, fun, exciting, adventurous. She can be hot-headed too, impulsive, but she's ultimately someone who is about her business. And at the same time, she doesn't allow herself to be pushed around. And she's very direct. So if that sounds like either one of you, maybe that's why you get the Queen of Wands a lot. It represents me, I think. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So that's probably why. Yeah, you'd probably be upset if you had to reach out, and you'd probably be upset by what he'd have to say, because he'd be really honest. And I don't know if, given the cards that we have for him, he is going to be coming from this place of soft delivery, you know, when it comes to what he has to say. You know, some people are really good at being able to articulate their thoughts without being very offensive or a little bit too direct. I don't think that's necessarily his personality. And so if you were to have that conversation with him, I think you'd be a little irritated. Let me get these cards. I'm curious. Thank you. I need closure. you really need closure, reach out and have that conversation and move on. Because we did get that Tower card, and the Tower card will definitely destroy foundations, bring about closure to matters, and push you into a new stage. Okay, we'll pull one more card for what he says, and then I'll get into PJ. Oh, got that Page of Swords again. Page of Swords is interesting because right off the bat, the Page of Swords kind of keeps things light and short. They don't really go into a lot of depth. So if you had any misunderstandings or conflicts or confusion, they would probably maybe like crack a few jokes or just say, oh yeah, that was crazy. It's very surface level. It's kind of like when you receive an apology from somebody and they say, oh, I'm sorry. But they don't say what they're sorry for. And they don't acknowledge the hurt. And they don't acknowledge the damage it's done. And they don't talk about how they're going to change and do things different. It's just a, I'm sorry, and I already apologize. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that that's it. So it's almost like it feels a bit incomplete when you talk about the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is good for like a casual, fun, get to know you, icebreaker conversation. But the Page of Swords struggles to navigate more serious relational topics. We have the Magician card here and the Five of Pentacles. So he would more so talk about how he himself has suffered and how he has felt rejected, neglected, cast to the wayside. The Five of Pentacles can very much be a little bit of a victim mentality too sometimes. But they would talk about what they have been through and how they have hurt. When I see the Magician card next to this, it's like I'm telling my story about my suffering. You know, I'm telling my story about how I have gone through XYZ situations and things like that. Or how life is tough. They might talk about things like that. Whether it's tough on them financially, work-wise, or, you know, very much like everyone abandoned me. I don't have anyone around or to really support me. People don't really ride for me. No one cares about me. Like, you know, that's very Five of Pentacles type of conversation. You know, I thought you were different, etc. I've been left out here in these streets. You know, that's very Five of Pentacles. So they would kind of talk about their struggles and how hard things have been for them. And that's what they would say. Let me know if that resonates. I don't know their character. You know them better than me. But so I'm curious as to what you think they would probably talk about. All right, PJ, let's get to your question. Should you maintain distance from Richard? And if you're coming in, we are currently doing questions from viewers. We have not gone over the weekly collective yet. We will do that after. Sometimes these things get a little bit out of order, but it happens. And if you're coming in, like, share, participate in the polls. This week's poll question is how the World card has come up for you. Did you start a new chapter? Did you end a new one? Wrap things up? Did you accomplish a goal or even like receive acknowledgement for something? And I'm going to put that under the goal category. And did you have lots of responsibilities and duties? For me, I felt like I completed a cycle and I had a lot of responsibilities and duties. I'd probably pick responsibilities and duties that come out the most for me this week. So let's get into this. We already have a card fly out. And I shuffled this. Okay, so second card. PJ, we have the the Magician, and the King of Wands. And we have the Queen of Swords and the Empress. So I think that's interesting how you had a question of should you continue to keep your distance. I don't know what happened between you and Richard, but these aren't necessarily cards about moving on or creating distance between things. Especially with the Magician card, he's generally more communicative. So if this person is like very toxic, then I'll say this: use your best judgment, and maybe the cards are indicating talk to other people. But if this person is somebody you believe you could have a reasonable conversation with, which the cards are sort of leaning in that direction, I think the cards are suggesting opening up the lines of communication. But like, I don't know the full backstory of your situation, but I just know the Magician card often comes up when it's somebody who wants to be surrounded by people, who wants to entertain the crowd, who wants to have more people involved in their life. They want more attention. They want more people to engage with. It's never really a card of isolation and pulling away. It's about shining and showing who you are. And so really this is indicative more so, especially with the Queen of Swords and the Empress card there. It's more so a card of socialization and conversation and talking about love, happiness, connection, relationships, talking about even money sometimes, but I don't think that relates to this scenario. But essentially just communicating your thoughts when it comes to anything around a relationship or a connection that is meaningful and impactful to you. It said, honestly, nothing happened. I just want to because I don't think I can handle this. Okay. Well, if nothing happened, like, feel free to continue to talk to them. Like, they seem like they'll be fun to talk to. You'll enjoy it. Is this a playback? What do you mean by playback? Hold on. No, I'm live right now. I'm not playing anything back. Let me look at what you say. Thank you. He probably heard I reached out and I played his game. As a woman, I'm not chasing or begging. I wanted him to step up and chase me. Oh, well, it's not meant to be. The chemistry. Oh, can you rewatch it? Yeah, I keep my lives up. So you can rewatch it unless somebody requests me take it down. You know, sometimes people want to be more private with their questions, but yeah, I keep my lives up just in case anyone wants to come back and view the live. So I will have it up. PJ, I don't want to show him I care anymore. I did today, didn't feel good. Well, I mean, I think that's valid. If it doesn't feel good to talk to someone, and if you don't really enjoy that conversation, then definitely step away. I would say though, maybe indicate to them if you didn't feel good, if you're close enough for that, or you feel comfortable enough to do that. You know, say, hey, we had a conversation yesterday. I didn't leave feeling good because of X, Y, and Z, because they could be communicating in a way that they don't even realize is hurtful. And I think it's always good to give somebody a chance to correct their behavior and be better. Now, after that, if you have that conversation and you say what's on your mind and they still talk to you and it doesn't feel good and they seem sleazy or something's off, then move away. He's like a normal guy, but I just didn't like it. Okay. Well, no need to force yourself to talk to him. You know, there's tons of other people in the world that you can talk to. You do not have to force yourself to talk to them. You know, I will say the cards didn't show any ill intention there, but you never know. So just, you know, feel free to avoid them, you know. You can find way more people to talk to. The world is so big. There's people everywhere. You know, people whose company you enjoy, people who will stimulate your mind, people who will give you butterflies, make you smile, make you laugh. So I say move on if that's how you really feel. Always trust your intuition. Always let it guide you. Don't force yourself to be around someone who doesn't make you feel good. All right, guys, let's hit the weekly collective because it has been an hour. And I want to make sure we hit it. We've already done the weekly recap, and I will link that below probably tomorrow. It's late. I haven't even eaten like dinner or lunch, whatever. Oh, 2 cards came out. That's interesting. We got the 9 of Swords reverse and the Ace of Swords reverse. Exactly. Thank you so much for the reading. You're welcome, PJ. And then we got the Queen of Pentacles. Now, right now, I'm just kind of reading the cards as they come out. Normally, I have a specific way to read, and you guys know that, but I'm trying a more traditional approach today. So, Ace of Swords, reverse. Ooh. Ace of Swords, reverse. 9 of Swords, reverse. And the Queen of Pentacles. So, next week when we think about the Ace of Swords, reverse, this is actually something that could be like brain fog, struggling to cut certain things out of our lives. And then also when I think about the Ace of Swords reverse, sometimes it's like I'm struggling to find new ideas or even just properly communicate with other people. The Ace of Swords is a card that comes up when we feel as though, or reversed, we feel as though we're stuck in the same mental loop that we're struggling to get out of. And sometimes this can look like even refining your thoughts. And the only reason I mention this narrative particularly is because right after it, we have this 9 of Swords reversed. And we got this card last week. We pulled it last week for this week. And if I think about how the 9 of Swords has played out for me, and I don't know how it's played out for you astronauts, and it's reversed, is that I have been questioning how I talk to myself internally and externally, as well as thinking about what kind of information or content I want to consume and who I want to follow. Things that bring me anxiety, things that bring me stress, I was focusing on letting go of. And so if we think about that sort of mindset when it comes to the 9 of Swords, and let's say it plays out like that next week, then we know the Ace of Swords is more than likely going to be a refining of thought. It's going to be reassessing how you think about things. It's going to be even reassessing about how you think about relationships as well. Sometimes it can be reflecting on the past. Aces, or should I say swords actually, relate to relationship houses, which is the 3rd house, the 7th house, and the 11th house. So from one perspective, we look at the 3rd house, it's what I gave you before. You're thinking about those intrusive thoughts and how you can ignore them. You're thinking about how you structure your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative. This can also be like I'm going back and refining a skill, or I'm refining my mental processes. If we think about it in terms of the 7th house, this is about reflecting on relationships. or even coming across some boundaries or things that are in the relationship that need to be readdressed, that need to be revisited. A conversation that needs to be had. It's like a long time coming, right? And then if we think about things in terms of the 11th house, the house of gains and hopes and wishes, it's actually refining those hopes and wishes, right? Maybe we had a certain strategy or a certain goal or desire that we had, and now we're questioning it. And we're saying, is this really what I think I desire? Is this really what I'm so heavily focused, I should so heavily focus my energy into? So sometimes the Ace of Swords can be about streamlining processes, refining your goals, reassessing relationships, and reevaluating your thinking processes. And that can be a thing that's going on. Swords tend to be very internal. But if we think about just relationships in general and things that are happening, yeah, that can be some miscommunication. There can be some awkward conversation, awkward turtle things going on here. You could get some messages from people from the past. You could be waiting on some messages and you're like, dang, this is taking forever to appear. If you are filing some stuff, you might find it hard to actually get through. You know, that Ace of Swords can definitely represent delays when it's reversed. It's like you want that new start, but it may not be coming. And sometimes it could be the mundane. I will say this, with the Queen of Pentacles on the end, and she's upright, it does indicate that at the end of the day, we're still taking it in stride. Like, we're not letting the delays or frustrations or the recalibrations or reassessments or awkward conversations get to us. It's really just a matter of taking care of ourselves, trying to find balance in this crazy world that we live in, and actually thinking about how you can continue to grow, how you can continue to blossom as your world changes or even as it remains stagnant. So the Queen of Pentacles is a card I love to see. I always get her to represent, you know, taking those walks, getting a massage, making sure you practice your skincare, watching a good show. I like a Korean drama. Whatever you like, maybe that's your Queen of Swords week, you know? Maybe you like sports. You're like, I'm watching sports this week. That's what I'm doing. I put my feet up. I'm going to watch some sports. It's also feeling like, because we're letting go of some of those anxieties, like you're having that confidence resurface this week. And then you could also have some conversations when it comes to practical matters, or even letting go in some concerns in practical matters. For example, if you're worried about money or health or something like that, this can definitely look like you're letting go of those concerns. Now, there can be many reasons for that could be happening this week, but we don't need to go into every single reason. This can also look like, how do I say this? Letting go of certain ideas of yourself and how you perceived yourself to be. So self-limiting beliefs, that's something that can be smashed or gotten rid of. And you just got a little bit more relaxed, especially towards the end of the week. But definitely a week of refinement, recalibration, expecting some delays on news. Expect the week to be pretty slow. There may, how do I say this? You may find some messages from others that are a little bit confusing. And this is definitely a good week. I think it's a week of growth. I think it's a week of thinking about how we approach matters. But the Queen of Pentacles, I'm trying to think what else. You could be looking at your career differently this week as well. But you're not trying to let other people get to you. That's really what it is. And then lastly, when I see the Queen of Pentacles, this can definitely represent a lot of hard work. Not as much as the World card that we got this week, but definitely it can be a continuation of having duties and responsibilities, as well as, like I said, it's that good balance of work and play with the Queen of Pentacles. She's luxurious. She looks great. You know, maybe you do some shopping next week. but it would be shopping that you have been thinking about for a minute, like something you needed to buy. Like, for example, I have needed a new can opener for a while. I've been putting it off, and I just bought a new can opener. So that would be something that would be like this Ace of Swords, Queen of Pentacles vibe to it. Like, oh, there's some things that I actually needed to go back on my list and do, and check some old things off my to-do list that I didn't get to do, and now I'm revisiting and coming back like a retrograde. So that is what I have for you guys. Thank you for joining me during the live. I really appreciated all your questions. I am wishing you all luck, and I hope you have a beautiful weekend. I will be live again tomorrow at noon. First live at noon I've done in a while on a weekend. So I really do hope to see you guys there. Don't forget to watch the latest video. Don't forget to become a member and get exclusive access to all the monthlies, yearly readings, seasonal readings. And I will see you next time. If you would like to participate in polls like we have here, which it seems like it's split 50-50. And if I put in my say, if I put in my say, it would probably be, like I said, duties and responsibilities. So that would be the winner. So maybe we can go by that, but it is split. But let me know how the world card has played out for you. And any feedback, if you watch the video back, I would be more than happy to look at that and get your answer. I love when you guys provide insights. I mean, you guys are so smart and incredible. And that is all. And also it helps me because when getting your understanding of how you guys have experienced the cards helps me when I'm writing my tarot book, which I am writing right now. Having that open dialogue and collaboration with you guys is so helpful because ultimately I want to write a book that you guys will enjoy. And if it doesn't resonate with you, I obviously don't want to write that type of book. But that is what I wanted to say, and I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget, we also have Venmo now. That is the only other announcement I can think of. So if you go through my booking form, you can pay through Venmo. I have not Venmo. Oh, you can pay through Venmo. I haven't updated the booking form to state Venmo, but I do think I state there you can pay through CashApp. So I will update that. So if you see that discretion, just know that you can use Venmo. And if you ever have any questions, you can email me at AstroTarotBrandi@gmail.com. That should be in the description bar as well. If not, it's definitely on the channel page where you can, I think, reach out about inquiries and stuff like that. My email should be there for you guys. And that's that. That is all I have to say for you guys. I really appreciate you stopping by. If I haven't said it before, I'm a little tired. You can see from my little tired eyes. And I'll see you tomorrow. So, au revoir.